Disclaimer, I suck at guest. Doesn't mean I don't understand how it's meant to be played, especially by higher level players. I just can't replicate it myself because I'm bad. Guest 1337 is the definition of that one bell curve meme. When you first start playing Forsaken, he feels completely broken, or like, especially when you play Killer, it feels like how do they do it? They hit every parry, what are they doing to you? He starts with 115 HP more than everyone else. But then the more you play Forsaken, the more you realize you doubt him. He's Mr. Potential Man, he sucks, there's no point in playing him unless you want that dopamine rush, that's the only point. He doesn't have the consistent stun of Zelensky, the range or possible even higher health than Guest of Chance, or even the obnoxious stuns of 2-type. But once you understand the higher levels of the game, the amount of resources that each survivor provides the team, pressure, sandbags, abilities, all of that, when you get more into it, you realize Guest scales harder like more than any other survivor when played properly, usually landing at best or second best at countering a specific killer. He has a kit that's deceptively simple but of course also very complex at the same time. As said before, he has the 115 HP, simple charge that pushes killers back and gives them like a second of helpless, stopping them from using their abilities, basically wasting an M1 and 10 stamina. And then he has block, which allows him to subvert any damage directed towards him for the length of the block. If he gets hit with a valid melee attack, he gains a punch. And if he punches within 1 second of gaining his block, he's able to do a parry for 3.5 seconds stun with a long lunge. Otherwise, you can hold on to your punch for a shorter 2-second stun. On paper, it just sounds good. When you first ever try it, it feels so bad compared to everyone else. And then when you get deeper into it, as I said before, you realize in practice how much it forces mind games, it messes up the win conditions, it adds constant pressure to every single chase, unlike basically any other survivor provides. Anyways, next I'm going to go from the killers he bullies the least to the killers he bullies the most. Alright, to start with our first killer, we have 1X. After the rework, this is Guest's weakest matchup, I'd say, for sure. But it's still pretty solid. The game plan is simple. You use charge to peel 1X off your teammates, and considering 1X is a slow killer, like compared to Slasher, he gets affected a lot more when he loses that distance. And if someone gets pulled by entanglement, you're able to apply pressure with your block by running up to them, and if he M1s, you react block and then parry him, and that's entanglement done. Entanglement's a very big part to winning chase as 1X. Now, it's nothing game changing, you can't charge minions anymore, but overall, it does pretty decent for the team. Okay, next we have Sixer. Sixer has less rod placement from Guest because charge does not push Sixer as far unless you get like really lucky. Sometimes it works, but just generally, since Sixer has more weight, it doesn't work. What you can do here, especially compared to every other survivor, is you can sandbag and make Sixer's day a lot worse. Now, you may wonder, how can you sandbag a killer if they can just push you? Well, you actually can if you try it in practice. And unlike everyone else, Sixer can't just eviscerate you because you can react parry to that because of the entire thing that goes into it, like the wind-up, which leads to you basically just being the most annoying survivalist ever to Sixer, especially because Sixer, if they chase you, no matter what loop you use, you can just block Demonic Pursuit if they try to jump over it and hit you. But no, there's not really much else that goes into Sixer. Sixer's just a killer that exists for Guest. You're pretty good against Sixer, but not the best. Like, 2-time in the current meta would probably be the best Sixer shutdown just because of how dumb the hitboxes work, even with the nerf. Moving on to our next killer, again, we have Slasher. This is where Guest starts becoming oppressive. Yes, Slashers are once very unreactable, of course. But that doesn't invalidate Guest, especially if you're supporting a teammate. Guest has 15 HP over every other survivor in the game. Maybe even more if you count like Elliot. But just generally the health pool is 15 higher. So that means Guest can tank more than every other survivor for sandbagging. And yes, sandbagging is valid. I saw a lot of comments on the other video. But I'll be honest, you have not dealt with real sandbagging if you don't understand what sandbagging does. If you want to know what we're on about, like I literally saw XYZ come in because of it. If you want to know what actual real competent sandbagging's like, either go watch some more scrims from comp or just go play comp yourself. Swapping targets off the tunnel is a terrible idea. because the tunnel, if it's like Builderman, you set up sentry cycle, and that means first you probably have someone with more survivability than the tunnel in Chase now. Like Guest is obviously going to do better against Slasher and Chase than Builderman. And second, it frees up the Builderman's resources, so you can't swap off to Slasher. Also, if you want to talk about getting Gashing Wounded while sandbagging, Guest is the survivor who can just react to it and block it and parry it, meaning it's not going to work out. On top of this, since Slasher relies on every single bit of distance he has, charging does a lot, even though compared to what you would think, because any distance loss is a terrible moment for Slasher. Just overall, Guest adds a lot of stalling against Slasher. Anyways, next killer. No Fatu is the most boring one, but like, it's pretty simple as usual. Ascension becomes risky. You have to always just use it to catch up if Guest is in the chase, otherwise you're probably just going to get parried, and that's all the distance loss. While that is comp anyways, you're generally going to do that. It's just, you know, that option's completely shut down now. And since Guest is on the chase, since he has a higher health pool, as we keep mentioning, he can tank blood hooks, waste your time, and avoid stamina needing to be wasted on a 50-50. Plus, Nosferatu has the lowest M1 damage in the game, making this even worse. Nosferatu just generally doesn't have a good time with Guest. Some sandbagging, some M1 taking, blocking basically everything that he needs to. It's just a pain. John Doe is the most simple one here. Slow killer with this long M1 windup. And unlike someone like 1X, he has no projectiles to do all his damage for him if needed. Basically, all the damage you're doing comes from every single swing of your M1. And it becomes a mind game. Every M1. Well, Guest block. If he's close, you can bear hug, so you have to be distance from Guest / the person you're chasing. If you're too close, baiting's impossible. And then every M1 becomes, should I bait, should I do the hit? Not to mention, Guest can just charge you back, and that's an M1 gone and distance gone. You trap someone, Guest can run in and turn it into another mind game. Maybe he'll block under the pressure of keeping his teammate alive, maybe he's just there to tank M1s, how do you know? And if you chase Guest, you have that mind game against him personally, so it's every M1. It doesn't matter, it's not like he can be too far to tank it, no, you're going for him. Also, this is just something small I noticed. If the killer has a 15-20 stam advantage at the bottom of your stamina bar, like when you're out, if you charge, you basically get the stamina back to equal. So, you know, that's fun for John Doe. Not to mention, you can't snipe Guest because he can block your sniper hits, meaning your last hit has to always be an M1. There's nothing else you can do unless Guest gets sloppy. But yeah, that's the most simple one. Everyone knew that one was coming anyways, because John Doe is the Guest bait killer. For our last two killers, I honestly feel like these two could go hand in hand just because of how they get shut down in a lot of the same ways. First, we have Nollie. Guest slows down Nollie very dramatically. Void Rush, at best, baits a block. Otherwise, your Void Rush is completely off the table. Even if you hit one, Guest can charge and you can't redo your Void Rush, you can't rebound. Also, you have a very reactable M1 as Nollie. Guest blocks your M1, you're done for. Guest charge, Nollie's a slow killer, you get done in by getting charged back in distance. Then against Nova, Nova completely gets outdone by getting charged, at least in terms of the Guest taking damage. It just completely subjugates the damage. Subjugates? Is that the right use of that word? I don't know, tell me. I'm being very dyslexic right now, as you can hear. But it's honestly hard to like pad it. Everyone knows you completely shut down Void Rush, reactable M1. Charge loses a lot of distance. That's about it. It's hard for me to figure out any way to pad it besides from just saying that. Then we have the worst one for the killer, Coolkid. Now this may sound a bit shocking when you think about it, because you have a 0.1 second wind up M1. There's no way of react blocking to that. But Coolkid relies so much on the intricate balance of his moveset. Minions do a lot against looping. Walk speed, override, pressure, all that. Guest makes that go away. If you walk speed, override, Guest gets a free punch. There's literally no way to hit him with it unless he's being stupid. Or it's already after he blocked one, but you don't want to give him a block off one anyways earlier. Minions, you have 3 ways to deal with them. You can either block and absorb them that way. You're also able to charge the minions, which just deals with them, especially if you hoard them up, you can get both at once. And if you get a block off Coolkid, if you don't just parry, you're able to save it to when he minions and you can punch him and the minions at once. Again, there's less depth that goes into this. You don't really body block Coolkid. You can tank him once if you need, but overall, you just bully Coolkid. You shut down 2 moves and Coolkid basically becomes the worst version of Slasher possible. A guy who runs at you and throws a brick that gives slowness. But no, I know this is probably a shorter video, but at high level play, Guest 1337 isn't about flashy stuns, not about hitting the cool parry. No, it's just about destroying momentum, really adding the pressure to chases that just no other survivor can do solo. But anyways, that's about it. See ya.